Hello everyone and welcome back to Xbox Nation. My name is Fletcher and this is the video where we cover all of the upcoming Xbox and Game Pass games for this week to essentially see if any of them are really worth your time and money. This is a huge week in terms of video game releases as we have some incredible and highly anticipated Game Pass editions alongside some very awesome looking racing games, indie gems and so much more. We have a whopping 40 games coming this week, but I've highlighted the top 15 that I think will be of interest. So with that short intro out the way, let's dive right into these amazing games coming our way. First up and returning to Xbox consoles on the 16th of June is the classic Gex Trilogy, and to be honest, I can't wait to get my hands on this one, especially as I'm someone who played this many moons ago. Of course, the Gex Trilogy does include the original 2D platformer Gex alongside the two 3D sequels known as Gex Enter the Gecko and Gex 3 Deep Cover Gecko, but these aren't just reruns of the originals. This Carbon Engine powered collection includes some extras and numerous improvements that bring Gex back into its prime time, and it looks utterly fantastic. What's nice is that we're getting the full 16:9 widescreen support, fully analog controls, and all in high definition. Of course, this isn't the most insane remaster that we've ever seen, but I'm quite looking forward to diving into Gex again on the 16th of June. The only other release on the 16th of June is a new 4X strategy game, and yes, it looks incredibly similar to the likes of Civilization 7. This one is actually a post-apocalyptic spin on that strategy game subgenre. It's all about exploring, expanding, exploiting, and exterminating, so this just might be what you're after. Revival Recolonization is set in the wake of a catastrophe that left mankind on the brink of destruction. You will essentially have to choose from one of many clans to ally yourself with, and you'll guide yourself through 4 distinct eras of the 4X game as you rebuild strategy in a broken world, and along the way you'll be discovering some futuristic technologies that'll allow you to survive against both the evolved creatures of this wasteland and a hostile machine race of Terminator-like automatons known as the All-Minds. It has been out on PC since April of last year and it's received 71% mostly positive reviews so far, so it might be worth your time if you love games of this nature. One co-op game that I'm incredibly hyped for this week is FBC Firebreak, and I definitely think you should keep it on your radar, especially if you have an Xbox Game Pass subscription. This one, of course, is set in the same universe as third-person action game Control, and FBC Firebreak sees us all working together as part of an elite team within the Federal Bureau of Control. The game features a ton of different jobs for us to complete, and they're basically replayable missions with uniquely designed challenges, objectives, and environments. The gameplay we've seen so far from different trailers, previews and more really highlight the combat as rock solid across the board, and apparently the bosses here are some of the most intriguing in this genre. Everything here looks like a lot of fun, and I love that the devs aren't pushing a season pass or even microtransactions, so it's really harkening back to the glory days of 360 era multiplayer shooters. Funnily enough, we have yet another day one Xbox Game Pass title arriving on the very same day, and it's the really fun roguelike Lost in Random: The Eternal Die. I was actually lucky enough to review this one about a week in advance of the full game releasing, and I had a ton of fun here. This one basically drops you in the world of random, but this time as Queen Alexandra, who you might recall from the first game. This time though, this is a top-down roguelike title with some very flashy combat and all the kind of progression that you expect from games in this genre. I found it similar in vein to Supermassive's Hades, and that's a pretty good comparison, especially as Hades was such a big hit. There are a ton of enemies for you to fight, some lovely nods to the first game, alongside some very decent and engaging progression systems. If you want to check out my review of this game to see if it's worth it, then you can do so on the channel right now. Tron Catalyst is looking like a pretty cool, electrifying isometric action experience that looks to fuse futuristic combat with time-bending mechanics to create a bold new chapter in this Tron universe. This new title though is actually centering on a brand new character named Exo, who is a determined program battling for survival in the perilous Arc Grid. As a bit of background though, and upon doing some research, it's basically an explosive event that grants Exo a unique power, which lets her loop time and exploit temporal anomalies to overcome her foes. As you can see, this is set within the dynamic cityscape of Vertical Slice and looks to offer us an immersive mix of high-speed light cycle chases, some intense on-foot combat, and then strategic level replays where every loop reveals some new secrets and shortcuts. We did get a few trailers and previews back at the Idea Xbox showcase earlier this year, and it does look pretty cool, but I am still pretty mixed as well, as I kind of wanted a more grittier take on this Tron universe. If you are interested though, and you want to dive into this futuristic action game, then it arrives to us on the 17th of June. I first caught wind of Date Everything late last year, when an animated trailer showcased a dating sim unlike anything I've ever seen before. What do you mean I can date a humanoid fridge, a grand piano, and a front door that can actually woo me? Yes, it's as weird as it sounds. As it turns out, this title is both an invitation and a promise. Just about every household object has been reimagined in hunky humanoid forms, and even the metaphorical gets in on some loving, with glitches, existential dread, and the game itself making up a roster of 100 dashing dateables. This fresh studio behind this game was formed by a team of voice actors with credits spanning with the likes of Final Fantasy, Persona, and Fire Emblem, and rather fittingly, it features some top draw voice talent to match it. I have done some research and looked at some reviews from critics, and many have enjoyed this one, and compare it to the likes of Doki Doki Literature Club, so if you like all of these sort of visual style novel games, then this one will be right up your alley. Games like Mirror's Edge, Assassin's Creed, and Dying Light have really shown us how exhilarating parkour can actually be in a video game, but those titles used it as a means of effective traversal only. Enter Rooftops Alleys, the parkour game, one that takes the parkour element to the brand new level, and it seems to be doing it to great effect. For me and many other review outlets out there, this seems to have the physics system you expect in games like Skate, and I know so many of you really love that style. Structure wise though, you will be playing this one either solo or with up to 3 other friends, and then you can enter one of the game's 6 small open world levels. These are fully explorable areas, from abandoned warehouses to modern cities, each featuring ramps, railings, rooftops, and more to connect radical tricks. There is no real plot here though, instead it's all about finding new paths, scoring sensational combos, and completing challenges scattered across the entire map. It looks great for a small indie studio, and it also might be worth diving into, especially for that small price tag, and if you want to tide yourself over for Tony Hawk's Pro Skater next month. I do have to apologise in advance, as I was not familiar with Soulstone Survivors, and according to reviews over on Steam during its early access period, it's kind of been a disservice not to know what this game actually is. Upon doing some more digging for this video today, Soulstone Survivors is a fast-paced action roguelike where you will obliterate hordes of enemies, battle some colossal bosses, and forge your own path to godlike powers. In this one though, you play as what's called a Void Hunter, and you'll harness devastating skills, crafting unique weapons, and then unlocking game-breaking synergies in your quest for power. As you can see, this is a bullet hell through and through, and many within the early access period have said it's got quite a lot of content right out the gate, including the likes of a huge skill tree with over 350 skills. There's also a ton of bosses, and lots of great worlds for us to explore. If you enjoy a twin-stick survivor type game, this game should be right up your alley. This awesome new indie roguelike is launching into its full release out of early access on the 17th of June, and it will be available for both of the Xbox Series consoles. So, one racing game I wasn't aware of is coming to Xbox on the 18th of June, and upon doing some more digging and having the devs actually reach out to me directly, this seems like an incredibly popular entry, especially since its release over on PC. CarX Street is coming from a smaller dev team, but it really does harken back to the good old days of the original Need for Speed titles. The world here is rather large as well, and really for me it does grab a lot of inspiration from the likes of The Crew and Forza Horizon, but I will say this is a more hardcore racing game, as you'll need to tune your own vehicles and more to stay competitive, as the stock cards you actually collect won't do the job. It seems like a very in-depth racing entry with a ton of content for an indie studio, which is just so lovely to see. There have been quite a few negative reviews recently with the inclusion of AI voice actors, which I'm personally not fond of either. However, with a racing game, I kind of guess this really isn't the biggest aspect of the overall experience. Still, it might be worth checking out this week, and you can anticipate my review towards the end of this week. On the 18th of June, you can dive into Dustwind Resistance, and if you're a strategy fan, this one's looking pretty intriguing. This standalone single-player title brings players back to the harsh, tactical world of Dustwind, blending real-time strategy with the ability to pause and plan every single move. It is, of course, a spiritual successor to Dustwind: The Last Resort, but this newest entry will expand on the squad-based warfare and offers a more narrative-driven experience, encouraging a range of playstyles from stealthy infiltration to all-out assaults. This game kind of gives me the old look and feeling of the old original Fallout games. Nevertheless, the original Dustwind has been quite loved by many within the gaming sphere, so this Resistance offering might be worth diving into this week, especially if you're a strategy fan. Football fans, get ready. Rematch is just around the corner and officially drops on the 19th of June as a day one title onto Xbox Game Pass. This is definitely one to watch though, and judging by some early buzz out there, the creators of Sifu might have delivered another hit. Rematch though aims to shake up that traditional football formula with innovative gameplay in a 5 vs 5 online format. Ever since the release date was revealed earlier this June, some preview coverage has been overwhelmingly positive. I did have the chance to play it myself during a few playtests a couple of months ago now, and honestly it's brilliant. The controls here feel razor sharp and the gameplay doesn't let up for a second. There's no offsides, no fouls, and nothing to interrupt the overall action. I'm seriously hyped to dive into this one once it hits Xbox Game Pass on launch day, and I'd love to hear what you all think about it in the comments below. I will be doing a review which will be out on launch day, so make sure to subscribe so you don't miss this video. My favourite part of The Sims was just designing the homes, and if you're anything like me, then Architect Life, a house design simulator, may be everything that you're looking for when it comes out later this week on the 19th of June. I have done a little bit more digging as I couldn't really find any more details out there, but it looks as though Architect Life will offer us the opportunity to create buildings on 60 diverse plots in mountains, countryside, or city settings. There also looks to be 2 game modes right out the gate, including a brand new career mode, which includes the likes of 60 missions that present us with architectural challenges. Obviously, the main draw though will be the free mode, which is working closely with your own virtual clients to bring your own dream home to life. I love the aspect of kind of designing anything that your heart desires, and these sim games always garner such a dedicated audience. I was not aware of Robots at Midnight before making this video, and I'm kind of shocked as this is one game I will be trying out on launch for sure, as I'm really digging the premise and the art style here. This one though is a retro-futuristic action RPG set on the ruined planet of Yob, a luxury world now left in decay and haunted by machines once built to serve it. After 20 years in cryosleep, your character, known as Zoe, wakes up to find a world she barely recognizes. To survive and save what's left, you must track down her missing father, and along the way, you'll be taking on some gangs of corrupted robots, confronting towering bosses, and uncovering long-buried truths about the planet. I think for me here, the combat looks incredibly solid, and it has been said that there will be many settings at launch to make this feel like a Souls-like experience. I'm actually really loving the art style here as well. It looks sort of Pixar-esque like we saw with Kenna Bridge of Spirits, and I'm just so shocked that this game isn't garnering more fanfare. I will try to cover it more on its release, and I would be keen to hear what you think about this one in the comments below. On the 2nd of March back in 2006, Atlus launched a new action RPG on the PlayStation 2 titled Devil Summoner RAIDOU Kuzunoha vs. the Soulless Army. As the 3rd installment in the Shin Megami Tensei Devil Summoner spin-off line, it followed a very strange and stylish journey through 1930s Japan, mixing sort of detective work with demon fighting. The game really did gain some sort of cult status from its shift from traditional turn-based battles to more real-time combat, and for its unpredictable story-rich narrative. Now, a new generation of players, such as myself, can dive into Devil Summoner RAIDOU Kuzunoha vs. the Soulless Army in its newly updated for today's platforms as RAIDOU Remastered: The Mystery of the Soulless Army. This updated version though looks to feature some overhauled visuals, smoother battle mechanics, helpful modern tweaks, and so much more. After nearly 2 decades, it's finally making its comeback, so you'll have to let me know if you're looking forward to this long-awaited remaster in the comments below. Now, here's something a little different. Dear Villagers are set to launch their fast-paced open world title known as Star Overdrive on both the Xbox Series consoles on the 19th of June, and I'm genuinely excited. It's already been available over on PC and Switch for quite some time, and it's earned great feedback amongst that time over there, with many dubbing it Zelda on a hoverboard. You'll be riding a hoverboard to navigate the world, unlocking tricks to go faster as you progress, and the game also includes a variety of special abilities and physics-based powers to enhance the overall gameplay. From digging a bit deeper into this one for this video, it looks like there's also some great combat which makes use of those same powers, and honestly, it really does look solid. The game's world appears to be surprisingly big for this sort of indie project, offering us 3 unique biomes for us to explore, each filled with different creatures, terrain, and secrets to uncover. I am looking forward to diving into this indie gem, and I will be sharing my review not too long after its release. So, what game are you looking forward to this week? Will you be diving into Rematch with your Xbox Game Pass subscription, or will you be going more towards the shooter element with FBC Firebreak? You'll have to let me know down below. Do remember to like this video if you enjoyed, and smash that subscribe button as we're going towards 100,000 subscribers by the end of this year. Whilst you're here though, why don't you check out the video on screen now, as I was checking out the 16 best survival games that you can play on Xbox and Xbox Game Pass in 2025. This was a huge update from my video about 9 months ago now, and there's some huge games as well that you must play.